You read the title of this video when you clicked on it, so let's get started. Hiya! I know for a fact that I am not the only person who watches WatchMojo videos. Although to be fair, nowadays I only watch the ones that are anime related. Regardless, has anyone else ever noticed that they occasionally make mistakes when it comes to the plots of the things they mention in their videos, or just like certain specific key pieces about characters? And again, while I mostly watch the anime videos nowadays, occasionally I do hear these mistakes made in other videos of theirs, and it's kind of annoying, every time they make a mistake. I don't know. Watch a couple of WatchMojo videos, maybe you'll spot these as well. Let's keep going, shall we? I'm sure most of you have heard, but coming within the next year, we will have the return of some of our, in case of my case, favorite childhood cartoons returning to television. In this case, specifically, Samurai Jack. That's right, it's coming back, this time for Adult Swim. I'm very excited. I loved Samurai Jack as a kid. I still love it. It's really good. It's been a while. I don't know how they're gonna... The legendary Mako was the voice of Aku. I don't know how they're gonna do that without him, but I love that. And another great thing about this is that it opens up the doors for other shows for coming back, because we get movie reboots all the time nowadays. What I want to see is some television reboots, and we're gonna get to another show I want a reboot of later. But right now, I want to talk about another show, specifically Rugrats. I know we had All Grown Up, which was a pretty good thing. I liked it. I know some people didn't, but I really liked it. And I thought it was funny. I especially love how Dill had such a ridiculous personality, and back then, he didn't have much of a personality. I mean, he had a personality, but he didn't talk, and he was apparently, the most baby, so, but otherwise, I really love the Rugrats. Now, it could be a return to form, that being them being babies again. It could be them maybe somewhere, being actual teenagers, because they were only just like early stages of being teenagers and all grown up. Maybe even an adult version of Rugrats, and I'm not talking about what you may be thinking of. I mean like them as actual adults. That would be cool. I mean, most of them were born in the 89 or 91. If you look it up, that's how old they were. They would be over 20 years old, as it were. Most of them would be like 25 at this point. So wouldn't that be interesting? Maybe see them have Rugrats of their own. I know a bunch of people would probably love that. Especially considering the Rugrats apparently don't remember being babies like so many of us, despite all the awesome adventures they had, including getting lost in the woods and piloting a giant mech and fighting another giant mech in Paris. Because apparently you can forget that, along with getting lost in a deserted island and a bunch of other stuff that they did on occasion. Oh god, the things they would get into. Seriously, I love that show. So I would love to see a continuation of that, and I would hope that maybe that would happen. I don't know. I mean, I heard that apparently Hey Arnold's also getting a reboot, or at the very least it's getting another movie. So, yeah. We're getting stuff. Hopefully that Rugrats would happen. Let's move on once more. Sapa! I know some people were not happy about Terminator Genesis. I personally liked it. I felt it got a bit of a bad hash. I still feel it was the third best in the Terminator franchise at this point. But regardless, I will not dispute that revealing that John Connor turned to the dark side, spoilers somehow if you have yet to hear about this, but John Connor turned to the dark side in Terminator Genesis, and yet somehow that you don't reveal that kind of spoiler. And it appears that it's not just Terminator Genesis. I just yesterday or the day before saw the new trailer for Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice, and you know what? Not only did they spoil the meeting, the first meeting or the first contact between Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman. I mean, specifically those first two meeting Wonder Woman, but apparently they spoiled a great reveal for who the real villain in this movie would be. I mean, we knew that there was going to be the conflict between Batman and Superman, but let's face it, how long did you think that fight really was going to last? I mean, I'm still looking forward to it, but damn. It's another one of those it's just not going to be the whole of the plot, although it's going to be a lot of conflict. Or we already knew that Lex Luthor, played by Jesse Eisenberg, yeah, that's right, if you hadn't heard, although I can't imagine you haven't heard it, I personally am loving him. From what I've seen of him in the trailers, he's so far my favorite part of this movie. And, supposedly he's like standing out, he's coming in here as Lex Luthor, and I'm liking that. But at the end of the trailer, it was revealed who the true villain of this movie is. Spoilers, if you haven't heard, keep watching. Spoilers, And again, to be fair, this villain was created in this context by Lex Luthor, but still. Doomsday is going to be in the freaking movie. And it's going to be fighting all three. Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman all against Doomsday. That's going to be epic, but the stupidest reveal ever. Also, if you saw the Edward Norton version of the Hulk, Doomsday looks kind of like the Abomination. First thing that came to mind was, fuck, he looks a whole lot like the Abomination. Otherwise, that's my thought on this. We gotta stop spoiling our movies with damn trailers. Star Wars knows not to do this. We ain't getting none of them. J.J. Abrams is being tight-lipped as all fuck. Let's move on. Oh! Okay, I know that if any of you were watching this video, because God only hopes, I know that considering what I put for the title, this is probably one of the reasons you clicked on this video, so I'm going to tell you what Darth Vader's real job is within the Empire. And I don't know why so many people don't seem to know this. I mean, a bunch of people I know don't really get this. And I watched a video just a couple days ago where people did not seem to understand that this was the case. And I knew this from the beginning, but I looked it up just to confirm it. Darth Vader's exact position in the Empire is, and I quote, Supreme Commander of Imperial Military. That's right. Essentially that means that again, Darth Vader is pretty much the second command of the Empire itself. If anything happened to Palpatine, he'd probably take the throne, especially since thanks to the destruction of the expanded universe as we know it, or the demotion to Legends. We do not know, in fact, if Palpatine has any living relatives, let alone offspring, though I seriously doubt it. But this means, so we would all suspect that Vader would take over if anything had happened to Palpatine, instead of them dying, of course, at the same time as they did. Continuity-wise. But Vader's exact position is Supreme Commander of Imperial Navy, or military as a whole, meaning that he essentially controls the entire military. That is why all the admirals take orders from him. That's why in any military situation, he can tell the military to do whatever he sees fit, and no one can question him. Which is why he can get away with force choking so many damn admirals. I mean, they deserve it. Ozell was pretty incompetent, I mean, yeah, well, maybe he wasn't as incompetent. I always got that impression, But otherwise, Vader is Supreme Commander of Imperial Military. Remember that. I feel like that's something that people should actually remember. Moving on, final point. Let's go. As I mentioned to you all earlier, we're going to talk about another show I want a revival of, specifically The Land of the Lost. Now, I don't know how many of you remember the original version of this and not the crappy Will Ferrell movie that was released in 2009, but the original version came out in 1974. It was a TV show, morning children's television show, which consists of some pretty bad special effects, but all things considered, some pretty awesome mythos, some impressive acting, a great theme song, and it lasted for 3 years. And I personally enjoyed it. I really wish that it had continued on. We don't get all the answers to the questions that are raised in the show, but it's good. And you want more. It just kind of makes you want more. Now, I personally would love to see a revival of this show. Now, there was a reboot or kind of a redo of this in the early 90s where they brought in a new cast and in playing completely different characters in an entirely or at least semi-different version of The Land of the Lost. Now, the premise of the show is as follows. They get trapped in another world or like a pocket dimension. A family, in both versions for television, it's a father and his two kids, a son and a daughter, who are transported in a pocket dimension where there are dinosaurs and a lost city inhabited by lizard insect people and some caveman-looking monkey people. They have to deal with weird things happening on a regular basis, strange things like unusual weather patterns, getting attacked by said lizard insect people from the Lost City, the occasional lack of food. Some of it's pretty mundane stuff, but other times they got some pretty freaky stuff. And for a children's show, it was pretty serious, but the 70s were a different time. It's pretty good. I'd love to see a continuation or another reboot, preferably a better one than the one in the 90s or the crappy Will Ferrell movie. So I want to see it. It doesn't... evidently the old cast can't do it again, even though I hear they're still alive, but they can't, go back and play the characters again. Maybe they could get some new people to play the characters. I wouldn't mind that. Or we could start over just so long as it's the same Land of the Lost from the 70s show. That's what I want. I want a revival of the original Land of the Lost. Otherwise, I think that's all I have to talk about today, and I hope you all enjoyed this video. Hope you like, comment, and subscribe. If at all you're watching this, we can only hope. So, good night, or whenever. I don't know when you're watching this, but... hasta la vista, como